And good morning. Hey, I'm meteorologist Ben Peine here with a look at your live weather stream for the area today. Your forecast for southern Indiana, for Metro Louisville, for Kentucky, for Indiana, for the Ohio Valley, and sometimes we go beyond as well. Plenty to talk about as usual. We are looking at a chance for some strong thunderstorms late tomorrow. I think that time frame is probably around 6 to 10 p.m. My best guess with that. And I'm also leaning towards the best threat of severe weather, staying just off to our north, maybe over central Indiana and out towards central Illinois. That would be the hope for us. So we'll take a look at that threat. There is a slight risk for severe storms from the Storm Prediction Center, especially for areas along and north of Interstate 64 for late tomorrow, ahead of a cold front that'll move through Thursday night. Ahead of that front, it's going to be nice and warm and spring-like. Today, we've set a record warm low temperature this morning. The old record low temperature, 52, set back in 1986. And we only dropped, and actually temperatures were going up overnight in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. Many of you waking up around 60 degrees. So that is certainly April-like, if not a May-like morning. So very comfortable out there. Really no need for the jacket. I think this is the first morning I did not grab a jacket heading into work today. So off to a warm start. It'll stay mostly cloudy today. And as we bring up the radar and satellite, I am seeing a bit of some sprinkly activity near Metro Louisville. As we zoom in here a little bit, there you can see just a little bit of that green. So if you're in Louisville, let me know if you're getting that sprinkle or not. And then as you look off to the northeast, we've got a little bit of that as well up around into northern Shelby County and Henry County and into the Owenton area. But again, not a big deal with the little bits of some sprinkles, perhaps along and south of the Ohio River. Haven't seen really any happening in Indiana so far this morning. So a pretty quiet day on the way. It'll get a little bit breezy, southwest winds at around 10 to 20 miles per hour today. There you can see more clearing out to the west. So, hey, maybe it won't be totally cloudy out there today, and we'll sneak in a little bit of sunshine with those temperatures in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. And, depending on how much sunshine we get, not far off record highs today. The record is 73, set back in 1948. I've got a high going around 70 today, so we'll see how close we get to that. And then tonight's low, I've got 53. And the record warm low temperature for tonight is 56, set back in 1882. So flirting with some record warmth. And again, we are going to set a record warm low for today as we beat the old record warm low of 52, set back in 1986. So some fun with some stats here. And if you're just joining us and if you're new to the program, again, I'm meteorologist Ben Peine. We are going to cover your weather here for you. We go for about 45, 50 minutes. Thanks for liking or sharing this live stream and subscribing to our YouTube channel. That's EXTOL, Extol Media on YouTube, where we're live streaming too. So plenty going on here. Let me bring up the current conditions as well. We'll take a live look outside here with the Falls of the Ohio Foundation .org camera. There you can see some cloudy conditions out there as we get started. Feel free to drop in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. If you have any weather questions, I'll be happy to answer any of those questions. We will be looking at the Storm Prediction Center data again with that threat of some strong storms late tomorrow. We'll be looking at some of the weather model data, some of the high resolution weather model data that's going to be timing out some of the storms tomorrow, or at least the potential for that. And with this setup, as I mentioned yesterday, meteorologists call it a conditional chance of severe weather, which means a maybe chance. So I don't think it's going to be any kind of big outbreak of severe weather, and it could be a dud for our area. There is that chance. So I'm not hyped up about it. It's just something to keep an eye on. As usual, as always, with any chance of severe weather, we're just ready for, if there's a watch, then you're extra ready. And if there's a warning, then you just heed the warning and you head to your safe place. I mean, there's nothing more to it than that. I mean, we all have a way to get warnings. We all have our cell phones charged, the alerts on. Now, again, that's not for today. That's for late tomorrow. for that chance. Okay, so back to some live conditions out there as we look over the falls of the Ohio here along the waterfronts of New Albany and Clarksville and across over to Louisville this morning with pretty much an equally cloudy sky. I'm going to head over here to extolmag.com/weather. We've got our live stream up there. 61 degrees. This has got to be the warmest morning that we've had so far this year. 19-mile-per-hour wind, so it is going to be just a bit breezy out there for today. And here's a look for the first time this year at day 2 of the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather outlooks. You can see that yellow over our area. I'm going to blow this up bigger with our weather maps here in just a second. But that does show, especially along and north of 64, along and north of the Ohio River, up to I-70, that chance for some strong storms. This does have a tornado risk. It's about 5%. And what that means is it's a 2 to 5% in that area. That means if you drew a 25-mile circle around your house or any point in that area, there is a 2 to 5% chance of a little spin-up tornado. So it's a very small chance. It's nothing to really get too worked up about. And as we get back to the maps here, we also have the hail chance. And again, I'll zoom in on this here in just a second with the other maps. I'm just giving you a quick preview. I like to give you the forecast right off the bat here, and then we do a deeper dive through the rest of the show. But this shows a little swath of some hail potential, and then also some isolated damaging wind potential. The wind potential is 15% within a 25-mile diameter. And then the hail is also anywhere from 5 to 15% chance. I know those chances get a little confusing, but overall, I think this is kind of a small chance deal for most of us across the area. Okay, so let me get back to extolmag.com/weather. Again, we've got regional radars, we've got watches, we've got warnings if they ever pop up on these maps across the entire United States, if you want to check that out. And so far, some sprinkly activity flying over parts of Kentucky this morning. Here's one of our interactive maps with the radar showing a little bit of that light rain over Louisville and kind of looks like near the airport and over towards J-Town. A little bit of that light rain there here. And with this map there in the upper right-hand corner, there's dozens of weather layers. We can plop on the temperatures, which are looking fantastic this morning in the upper 50s to the low 60s. And we can look at the satellite imagery. And yeah, there's a decent clearing out to the west, but I think overall it'll be mostly cloudy for today. But maybe we can sneak in a little bit of that sunshine. Right now it looks like parts of Indiana, the sunnier side of the river so far this morning. There is another interactive map right here. And you can plot the temperature showing low 60s throughout the area and a little bit of that rain right there. This map will also have storm tracks when we have active weather and a lot more information right here for you. The storm tracks are kind of interesting. It'll tell you how fast they are, the towns where they are going, and a whole lot more there too. So lots of resources is my point here at extolmag.com/weather, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Hey, we're getting some comments in. We'll get to the comments. We'll get to some of our sponsors. We'll get to the deep dive of the forecast with, of course, your weather jokes, your weather history, and your weather countdown. Orlean Whitlow with one of the first comments. Good morning. Being sexy now in Hodgenville? Had a little drizzle earlier. Maybe a misspelling. Hey, but we're down for it. Emmanuel with a good morning. Orlean, good morning, Ben. Had a little drizzle this morning. There we go. Some of the ground truth with 60 degrees. Jay Hammock, sprinkles and imminence. Thank you for that ground truth, Jay. Appreciate you. John Fox, the good morning. A little bit windy there in Highview. Very nice. And the snow finally gone on the ground after last night. We still have Big Marge out here on Market at New Albany. And Marge got abused. I saw a little bit of a piece of fender on top of Marge. So maybe a car kind of bumped into Snow Mound Marge. Hey, we got camera number 2 with the cheers from Big Happy here this morning. So let's do a little swig and then we'll get going here this morning with the straight up black coffee. I did cheat though. I put like one of those Splendas or whatever, the zero sugar things in there. Christian, happy to hear you had a very fun time with the Tim Tebow Foundation there. And you will have to be on alert a little bit more there in central Indiana for late tomorrow afternoon to the evening time. Christian, we'll talk more about that here in just a second. Beth Lamb with a good morning. Thanks for tuning in. And we got a good morning from Dennis Gregory up there in Bedford. Excited for today's lunch walk. I'm going to try to get a run in later today as well. Christian, slow her down. 4th cup of coffee. That's all right. Hey, Lily and Lasley, 60 degrees at the house. And Christian, what's the percentage chance of storms? I've got us at like 60% chance. Might be a little bit higher tomorrow evening for you up there in the Indianapolis area. But again, we'll take a look at that here in just a second. Emmanuel saying, I hope it's a dud. I hope we're a better chance that tomorrow's threat is a dud for us here in Louisville than maybe central Indiana. But we'll take a look here. Ian, you rock. Thanks for tuning in. You rock. Thanks for tuning in. Charlotte Newton, good morning. Trying to get all the comments here. Mary Dale from New Albany, loving this weather. And Michael Long, insurance agents prefer a 0% chance, especially of hail, I assume. I understand that. Orlean Whitlow, and I remember March last year, Michael Long was a big one for the hail, and big for roofers. Big for roofers, though. Orlean's phone messed up with that original comment. Hey, it made a funny start to the day. I appreciate that. Good morning, warm and cloudy for Carol Payne. Thank you very much. Bethlehem, going to need some info on Marge. We're going to get another snapshot of Big Marge, the snow mound on Market here in just a little bit. Gone mushroom hunting already, Melvin. We got to wait till April for that, don't we? All right, here we go. We're going to get started with look at your weather headlines here this morning. Good to see you, Melvin, in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. So for today, warm, cloudy, a bit breezy. We got a couple sprinkles in Kentucky. Looks like southern Indiana is going to be pretty much dry for the rest of today. Highs around 70 today and tomorrow. Again, the record high today is 73 back in 1948. We'll see how close we can get. If we can sneak in some sunshine, there's at least an outside chance. And then we did set the record warm low temperature this morning, beating the old record warm low of 52 for today's date. And tomorrow we'll be up near 70 degrees as well. And we'll have a chance for a couple spotty showers from time to time tomorrow, and then a few storms possible tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. This is kind of a snapshot at 7 p.m. Thursday, tomorrow evening. That shows some of that activity developing around the region. There could be a little more what we call updraft helicity or spin, that if you do get a storm to grow, that it could ingest, spin, and cause spin up tornadoes. It looks like that's a little higher to the north of us here in southern Indiana, more so over central Indiana. Either way, again, we're going to keep a close eye on that situation for us. All right. With all of that said, let's get to a shout out to our partners here. And then again, we'll dig in. I'm thinking about stopping by the nursery today to say hello to these folks right up the road from me, up on Grantline Road, Grantline Nursery and Garden Center. And might do a little reel on some of the fun facts they got going on there. But they're busy. They're going and growing, getting it ready for springtime there. And if you want any landscaping help, they can help you out with that. We just heard from Michael Long. He had their 2-Tip Tuesday yesterday. If you want to get a quote, I just got my renewal today, and it went down thanks to using the app. So several ways to save here. If you want to get a quote, again, if you want somebody you can trust, here you go. 812-578-3072 is his number, or you can go to amfam.com. Super easy, and just search Michael Long right there. And a shout out to our partners here at Ivy Tech Community College, specifically our friends in Sellersburg, exit 9 miles north of Louisville. There's so many resources here that you can look at ivytech.edu. But if you want to jump on campus and meet some of the faculty, check out some of the classes and some of the labs, and they're growing campus there because they're developing the Baptist Health Urgent Center and Family Scholar House for single mothers. Again, a lot going on there. You can check it out. They encourage you to sign up and register for the one-on-one help with Tuesdays at the Tech. Shout out to our partners here at Lions Roofing, which, again, this is an amazing stat. I had no clue about this, but they are still working on roofs that were damaged back last March of 2025. That's what a big hailstorm can do. So if you want to get a quote, you can call them 812-294-3595. If you want to get your roof checked out, you can check out this right here online at lionsroofingco.com. I want to thank one of our newer partners here, Clog Busters with the Z Plumbing Services, clearing the way one flush at a time. The plumber you want to call, you can get a message right here. You can message them right on their website at Clogbusters, that's with the Z, plumbing.com. And they've got you covered throughout the Commonwealth. They've got the service vehicles to get to wherever you need. So there you go. Again, thanks to our partners here on the show. Looking live here at a warm start to the day, just a bit cloudy. And I want to dig into some of the weather maps here as well. We're going to start first. Yeah, we got some sprinkles out here over parts, a little drizzle over Kentucky. There's some sun off to the northwest. Again, not a big deal with any of that. Let's take a look at our friends from the Storm Prediction Center. This is the first time this year we've been able to talk about a risk of severe weather. None of that for today, by the way. This is going to be for tomorrow. So let me get into day two's outlook. So this will pop up a big avocado yellow blob. Thankfully, we don't have any of the orange. The orange would be heading up into an enhanced risk. And thankfully, we don't have any red. That would be a high risk. But this is yellow over our area. So that is the slight risk of severe storms over our area. That's level 2 out of 5 in the severe weather risk categories. And we're talking mainly at the very earliest, late afternoon, a storm could fire up. But I think it's going to be more towards evening time if we see a few of these strong thunderstorms. And I'm starting to lean towards, let me see if I can draw on this yellow right here, kind of up around the I-70 corridor for maybe the bullseye of the chance of some stronger to severe thunderstorms with the capability. What's on the table here? We're talking about maybe a spin-up tornado, possibly some large hail, possibly some damaging winds. Your typical culprits here with a severe weather threat. All right. So that is the severe weather risk area from the Storm Prediction Center. The Storm Prediction Center is a division of the National Weather Service, and their main job is to look across the entire United States and see where severe weather might happen. And look at that, across the entire United States, that is right over the top of our area. Now, let me plot up categorically. This is a look at the tornado threat, and this is a 5% threat from basically the Ohio River up to Interstate 70. The green is a 2% threat. I explained this a little bit earlier. 2 to 5% threat of a spin-up tornado within a 25-mile circle. So if you just use you as the center of the circle, 25-mile diameter around you, then we're talking about a 2 to 5% chance. It is a very small chance of that. And hopefully, again, it'll just be a dud. I'm hoping. So hoping it just will not be a big deal. And I say that because there's not a lot of fuel for these storms. There's a ton of shear and spin in the atmosphere, but there's not a lot of fuel for the storms to grow very tall. In fact, some of the storm tops maybe only about 15 to 20,000 feet. Typically, you need lightning at around 25,000 feet. And a lot of times the storm tops will go 40 to 60,000 feet for these supercells. So these would be low-topped thunderstorms. If thunderstorms, you can get little spin-up tornadoes even without thunder or lightning. So we're not fully looking at all the ingredients coming together for any kind of big outbreak, in my opinion. Starting to see wild onions, Leo, one of those harbingers of springtime. What was it I was thinking about? Oh, yeah, we were talking yesterday, the spring peepers. I'm wondering if you guys are hearing any of those along the roadsides. But we got Sean Giddings in here. I take tons of snow over this kind of weather any day. I don't mind a big snow or two like we've had, but I'm kind of over it. I'm snover it. So there we go. Yeah. Well, a small chance there, Christian. And again, we're talking about that right now too. And Mary Smallwood, hey, good morning to you, and a cheers to you, Mary, for tuning in and dropping it, being brave enough to drop in the comments. One more sip here from Big Happy. All right, so that is the tornado threat. Let's get to the hail threat. So there is the chance for some large hail. That, again, is in that bullseye area along and north or just south of Interstate 70. So that's kind of the bullseye there for the hail potential. That is at a 15% risk within a 25-mile circle. And then we go here to the wind probability. So this shows the potential of I was just getting a report. Oh, my son is not feeling very good. I think he might have the flu. It's going around. A lot of his buddies have the flu as well. So hopefully the parents don't get the flu. All right. Hopefully you don't get the flu. Again, it's going around. Christian, yep, we're talking about that. We're talking about it. And Emmanuel, I got someone on my team with the snow. So again, this is the wind threat, damaging winds. So we may get a few severe thunderstorm warnings, which means that we could have some wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. Typically over 60 miles per hour, you'll get some tree damage, maybe some power line damage. So that's something to watch out for. And again, areas around Louisville, the Ohio River, kind of on the southern end of that threat, with kind of the heart of the threat up around Interstate 70 so far. So that's just a kind of a precursor of what we'll look at. Again, we'll fire up the high-resolution weather models here in just a second, and we'll take a more defined, again, high-definition look at that. But let me get to a couple other things and our typical forecast stuff. Again, plenty to cover here, and I know there's a lot of questions, so we'll get to all that. If you ever want to give me a question, a longer look at something you're curious about with the weather, you can always contact me right here, ben@extolmag.com. Thank you, Emmanuel, by the way, for that awesome picture you sent me along the Mississippi River yesterday. Or if you're interested in advertising and marketing solutions, there you go. Also, thank you to Erica Risotto. She donated to my polar bear plunge on Saturday. So this is Saturday at Deem Lake in the Borden Valley. 10 a.m. to 11:30 is registration. Noon is the polar plunge. And I went there yesterday, and yes, still ice on Deem Lake. So that's where the plunge is going to take place Saturday. I'll be out there. I've got a friend, Scott Caesar, that's going to jump in with me. The Extol folks will be out there. Angie Fenton will be hosting. There are different teams. But if you go to my Facebook post yesterday, if you do want to support, no pressure, you can donate there to benefit Special Olympics. And I will be one of the judges in the St. Patrick's Parade, Saturday, March 14th, 3 to 8 p.m. That's Baxter Avenue, Bardstown Road in the Highlands there. The Hibernians present the St. Patrick's Parade. So hopefully great weather for that. Coming up in less than a month. And then there's also right after that, a benefit concert. Put it on your calendar here, April 4th at the Melwood Arts Center. Juice Box Heroes and the Suburbans, food trucks, drinks, a good time to benefit Jessica's Journey Foundation.com. And again, here we are back to our weather headlines here for today. Oh, Beth Lamb saying, my kid is a college student and still bringing home the crud, texting from bed. Yes, indeed. I mean, the kids are around it all, so they bring it home. So again, warm, cloudy. I think Indiana has a chance to see some sunshine today and trying to get to around 70 this afternoon. We're not too far from it now in the low 60s. And then highs near 70 tomorrow and we'll have a chance for some on and off spotty showers for our Thursday. But it'll be tomorrow evening when we'll have that chance for a few of those stronger thunderstorms. And that is tomorrow evening's map right there at 7 p.m. And then also notice north, looks like a little more organization to that. And when I say north, that's for you, Emmanuel. That's for you, Christian Walker. A little extra heads up there for that potential. Hey, here's our weather countdown. Time change in just 18 days. Spring begins in 30 days. Hey, we're just a month away. Thunder over Louisville in 59 days, but we're getting a spring tease today and tomorrow with those warm temperatures. And then Derby Day, Kentucky Derby Day, 73 days away. The countdown, I almost feel like these countdowns make the year go by more quickly. Lillian Lasley, I will tell him you said that. Thank you very much. He's down for the count right now. All right, here's weather history for today. 1899, while most of the nation suffered a severe cold wave, the Bay Area in California soared to the 80s. San Francisco and Berkeley reached 80 degrees. So that is because when you have a trough over the east and cold weather, you've got a ridge out west, and you get two different extremes often across the United States. 1965, a massive avalanche killed 26 men at the Grand Duck Copper Mine in British Columbia. There was an avalanche that killed a bunch of people on yesterday's weather history. I think that was in like Utah or something. 1966, the temperature dropped to 49 degrees below zero in Winnipeg, Manitoba, the city's all-time lowest recorded temperature. Burr. 1979, the winter of 78 to 79 was the coldest winter on record in the United States. New York recorded its coldest official temperature ever with a reading of 52 below at Old Forge. In 1992, a good year for music. A thunderstorm spawned an unusually strong EF4 tornado so far north for that time of the year that struck in Ohio. Our stupid jokes of the day, for some reason, are pencil related. Why do pencils shave? To look sharp. Why do pencils go on vacation? Where do pencils go on vacation? To Pennsylvania, of course. And why did the pencil stink? Because it was a number 2. Hey, who knew pencils could be so funny? All right. Here's your forecast today for your Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, February 18th, around 70 this afternoon. Mostly cloud. This is when you know a human is making the weather graphic because I left off Y on cloud. Mostly cloudy, mostly cloud, mild, a bit breezy, southwest wind at 10 to 20, sunset at 6:24. We got some love for the jokes. Thank you, Lillian. And Orlean, that's better than my mistake. Love the jokes. I liked your mistake, Orlean. 53 degrees, our low tonight. That is near the record warm low temperature of 56, set back in 1882. A mostly cloudy overnight, stray shower chance. Tomorrow, there could be some spotty showers off and on, but I think we'll have a pretty good amount of dry time to get us up to around 71 tomorrow afternoon, with a south breeze at around 10 to 15 miles per hour, not overly windy, ahead of that chance for some evening storms. Our normal high is 49, our normal low is 32. In a couple of days, our normal high is 50. And in a couple of days on February 20th, that's the first time we hit over 80 degrees. I think that was in 2018 when we hit our first February 80-degree temperature. What was that? About 8 years ago. Hey, sunrise 7:28, sunset at 6:25 in our 7-day forecast. Again, those evening storms tomorrow. And then looking quieter for this weekend. I know last couple of days I've had that rain-snow mix chance Saturday to Sunday. That looks like it is now flying farther south. So this weekend's looking mostly dry. And so that means the Euro had the better solution than the GFS and the Canadian. And remember, I think it was just yesterday, I was like, hey, 2 out of the 3 weather models are calling for this little mix. Well, it was the 1 out of 3 that looks a little more accurate this time around. No surprise, the Euro. So 58 Friday looks dry with some sunshine, down to 37 Friday night, 50 Saturday, and down to 29 Saturday night. There could be a couple flurries around Sunday with highs in the upper 30s, maybe a little bit breezy, and then 38 Monday, lows in the 20s. Either way, it's still cold, but thankfully it is looking drier this weekend. And a mostly dry stretch all the way from Friday to Tuesday. The Euro and the GFS are in agreement that our next good rain chance would be next Wednesday, with a high of around 50 degrees. So other than our bump in the road tomorrow evening with that storm chance, pretty quiet outlook here to take us through. How are we almost done? Oh, so it'll be next weekend we're done with the month of February. Am I correct with that? So 28th is Saturday. So we're getting there. Our last work week of February is that 7-day forecast right there. On the Peeper Watch. All right. I got you. Christian, loving the weather history and the jokes. Thank you very much. Yeah, the weather radios might go off. Always good to be prepared. Hey, we're going to dig into the weather models. Let me get one more clink of the glass there as we cheers and take a swig to get us some energy. Wake us up. I did sleep good last night, which is good. Been going to bed super early, like an old man. I think I'm becoming an old man. All right, let me get rid of that and bring this up. All right, so here it is. Again, this is the risk from the Storm Prediction Center. We are under a slight risk of severe storms tomorrow, and that is late tomorrow, and that is a 2 out of 5 severe weather risk category. Now, I want to go ahead and bring up the high-resolution weather model data. And we're going to compare and contrast. We did this a lot last spring, if you were with us on Ben at 10, and we're going to do it now. So this is right now, it shows a little bit of the sprinkly stuff that we have in Kentucky. So not a big deal with that. As we cruise into the afternoon, most of that is cruising off to the south. Most of the area will be dry this afternoon. But if you're around say the Bluegrass Parkway and south, you've got this drizzly stuff lingering a bit longer in your area. As far as the cloud cover shows, you can see we're pretty cloudy. Our friends in Indianapolis watching, you guys will see it looks like more sunshine today. This is the cloud forecast at 4 p.m. So there you can see we stay pretty cloudy for much of us. I'll go back to I'll go to our temperature map here. So where we see the drizzly stuff linger, you guys are going to be a little cooler here, say south of 64 Bluegrass Parkway in Kentucky. And then the warmest is actually going to be up in Indianapolis. I think we'll overachieve some of what these temperatures are showing. I mean, we're already at like 61. So we're not far off from 70 as it is. I would say we would at least warm up a little bit. Sun's coming out there for Indianapolis. I like it. You guys got the weekly test. Typically, we got like a Tuesday weekly test with the alerts here. Michael Long saying you need to try the Rise Mushroom Coffee. Switch to it for my afternoon brew. Helps the digestive system. I will give that a try. Thank you for the tip there. All right, so let's cruise along here back to the reflectivity, and we're going to look at again. We're going to jump into tomorrow. So let's go into. Actually, I need to get to. Here is the HRRR, by the way. I think I was on the NAM for that a second ago. So this is at 4 p.m. today. This shows just, again, a little bit of light precip in southeastern Kentucky later this afternoon. Most areas are going to be dry today. And then our temperature map, I like this. I like this outlook right here. Let's look at that. So I'm buying this HRRR, the HERD, the high resolution rapid refresh weather model, as you can see, showing the upper 60s and low 70s across the area. Again, not too far off the record of 73 set back in 1948. And again, where the drizzly stuff lingers longer, a little bit cooler around the Bluegrass Parkway and south. But either way, pretty good looking day today. Okay, back to the reflectivity. Reflectivity means rainfall, your future radar. And I'm going to jump ahead to tomorrow morning. Just to give you a look here, there might be a couple isolated showers every once in a while. This shows a little bit of that off to the southeast tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I would say most areas are dry. We're going to kick it up here to about noon tomorrow. This shows an isolated shower chance, and it shows the storm starting to fire up out towards St. Louis at around noon tomorrow. Let's pop ahead to 4 p.m., and there you can see the threat higher up around Indianapolis. So there you go. Our friends Christian Walker watching, Emmanuel. There you can see late afternoon that chance ramping up for you guys. But with this latest solution from the HRRR, a lot of our area is dry through the afternoon. I'm going to bump this ahead to around 6 p.m. So this is something to watch for us in southern Indiana. And there you can see the big blob over Indianapolis, by the way. These would be possibly discrete supercells, meaning isolated. And if you get some of these isolated guys like this right here, they can spin like a top. So just got to watch these little guys on the tail end of this clustery area of thunderstorms, that there is a pretty good amount of shear and rotation in the atmosphere, and that if we get some of these to develop early evening, they could be a little spinny, and we just have to watch them. All right, so we'll clear that out. Our little circly drawing there. And I'm going to just jump ahead a couple hours. This is around 8 p.m. And this shows some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms starting to move through our area. I think the threat would be very low of severe weather by this time. We're kind of losing the daytime energy. But there could be a little line of some gusty showers that moves through late night. This is around midnight tomorrow night into early Friday morning. So a bit gusty as that front moves through. But the storm threat we're talking about is out ahead of the cold front. I would say, again, around a 6 to 10 p.m. time frame is what we're looking at for most of our area. But it looks bigger and badder for our friends up in Indianapolis. There you can see that blob moving through there. What we also like to look at here is this is a mixed layer CAPE. This is the available potential energy for thunderstorms, and it is higher up here over parts of central Indiana. That would be enough to produce some strong thunderstorms. This is 5 p.m. tomorrow. And we'll get rid of that there. And then this is going in around 8 p.m. We still have the energy for thunderstorms. So this is the fuel for thunderstorms that we're looking at right here. And then I also want to show you the 850 millibar winds. So this is a low-level jet. These are strong winds, not far off the surface at about 5,000 feet. And so when you get thunderstorms, they can kind of channel these strong winds that aren't far off the ground to the ground, and you can get some damaging wind gusts from that. So again, the big component here that we have for this system moving through is the wind energy here. So high amount of wind energy and wind shear. We do lack a little bit of that CAPE in that fuel. So a high shear, low fuel event, which we often get in the wintertime, but it still can produce some strong ones. So again, it might be a lower end threat, but sometimes these lower end threats can produce. So again, we'll watch it very closely. And typically the nose of the low-level jet, which is right around here, the tip of the low-level jet is where you have mass convergence and uplift for thunderstorms. So that is called a kicker. That's one of the kickers that really helps those thunderstorms to ramp up. That is about 5,000 feet. If we go to about 18,000 feet, let me back this up a little bit. Oops, we're not getting good data with that. Oh, well, we won't use that one. Let me go here to some other products here for us. This is storm relative helicity. So this is if the storms get going, can they ingest, spin basically, and rotate? And so notice here, it is pretty high up around Indianapolis. So if the slight risk gets upgraded to an enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5, I think that would probably happen for our friends up here around Indianapolis. We got a lot of family in Indianapolis too. So that bullseye of severe weather might be trending up in central Indiana, and then a lower end threat over southern Indiana down to around the Ohio River and Interstate 64, and then a much lower threat of anything happening south of Interstate 64 in Kentucky. So this is the kind of breakdown that we love here on the show, Ben at 10. You're not going to get this on television, and you're not going to get it pretty much anywhere else unless somebody's streaming and deep diving. So that's what I love about this. We can get really nerdy if you're interested in the ingredients and why or why not we may see severe weather, some of the limiting factors. If it becomes a dud, you know why, because we don't have a ton of fuel. But if we do get enough sunshine and we just tip over the edge and get enough fuel, we got way enough wind shear and wind energy that spin in the atmosphere that we'll have to watch out for the potential of some spin up tornadoes. So that's why the Storm Prediction Center has our area under a risk of severe weather with this. And we got to keep an eye on it. So again, there's some more of those ingredients. Now, one limiting factor too is the dew point, how much moisture that we can pull up from the south. And typically you want to get dew points in the around 60, and there you go. We're getting near the level where you need to get some strong thunderstorms. And so we're getting the ingredients together here is what we're saying. Notice the sharp, dry line out to the west. So out ahead of this in Illinois, this is at 5 p.m. tomorrow. You got a dew point of 60. And I always say above 60, you can kind of feel the mugginess in the air. And then the dew point drops to 11 in Missouri. That is super dry air. So out ahead of this kind of dry line is the forcing another kicker for these storms. So we got kickers. So in weather school, they teach you about kickers. That could be a front. That could be a low-level jet. That could be a jet streak, like the jet stream. It could be different variables that help kick the atmosphere up. You're kicking up that bubble of unstable air. And if you do kick that up, then it's like holding a beach ball underwater. It shoots up, and that's that growing cumulonimbus cloud. And when that starts to go up, if you can use that convective available potential energy, that CAPE, then your updrafts can shoot up very strongly, I guess is a word. And so you get a strong updraft. On the other side of a strong updraft is a strong downdraft where you can get straight line damaging winds. If you get a strong updraft, what's under an updraft? Well, you can get a wall cloud, or you can get spin, or you can get a spin up tornado. I don't think this is a situation where we're going to have any kind of long track big tornadoes, but there could be a couple spin ups. And right now, the little bit better bullseye from what we see right now is in central Indiana. We've still got another 24 hours to fine tune this and look at the high resolution weather model data. And we'll do that tomorrow morning as well. I want to mention that we'll probably be on earlier at 9:30 tomorrow morning if you're going to be watching until about 10:30, because I've got a talk for Leadership Southern Indiana at 11:30 tomorrow. So I've got to hop off Ben at 10 and jump over to Jeffersonville for that. So we're going to be on a little bit earlier tomorrow morning. Anyway, all right, back to, I know we're deep diving here into all the nerdy weather stuff, but that is look at the sharp contrast there. Again, that's green is moisture, and the red is the sharp, drier air that will be punching in as we head into our Friday. So there's the dry line, so to speak. This is at 2 a.m. Friday. And again, what a contrast from almost mugginess, dew points in the upper 50s, low 60s, to very dry air behind that front. And then we're not going to drop too much. We'll be in the, I've got us upper 50s for Friday. So we just kind of step down a little bit as we head into the weekend. We got low 70s tomorrow, upper 50s Friday, around 50 Saturday, then 30s Sunday and Monday, and then 20s Sunday night. So gradually dropping temperatures here as we head through the weekend. All right. Kyle was asking what kind of tornado threat during the nighttime and overnight. I would say nothing during the overnight, and tomorrow evening, as we've been timing out here, is when we have the best chance for some of these thunderstorms, and it is a low threat. So the Storm Prediction Center has 2 to 5% threat of tornado within a 25-mile diameter, circle around your area. Let me get back to the reflectivity here. I'm going to back this up with the NAM 3 kilometer. I'm just comparing and contrasting the two different weather models here. I'm keeping an eye on the comments. We'll get back to that here in just a second as well. This is at 7 p.m. and it's later than the HER weather model. This is at 11 p.m. If you remember the HER weather model, it was at like 4 or 5 p.m. for Indianapolis. And it's also not as robust as the HER weather model, as it's a little more unorganized with the NAM 3 kilometer weather model. I'm hoping for the big dud with this for Southern Indiana, and I hope that's the case. But again, with any threat of severe weather, we're just ready. If a warning happens, just have a place to go and seek shelter. And I think around 6 to 10 p.m. is probably the main time frame for this. So that is a look at the NAM 3 kilometer. This is tomorrow, showing a few spotty showers before the chance of some of those evening storms. So this is around 5 p.m. This does show some activity late afternoon, 5 p.m. near Indianapolis. You can see some of those cells right there. And so we would have to watch for some rotation with that. But for us in Southern Indiana and into parts of Kentucky, the southern end looks a lot weaker and less organized. So again, crossing my fingers on that, obviously. All right, that is that as far as the severe weather threat. I'm not sure if there's anything else I can take a look at. Let me see here. We mentioned the 500 millibar winds tomorrow as this approaches. And this is kind of the lower level of the jet stream. Let's see if it'll load up here for us. The data is coming in slow. All right, so this is some of the strong winds aloft, which can just aid in some of the lift and some of the wind energy for these storms and keep them strong. And it shows 90 to 100 mile per hour winds at about 18,000 feet. So you've got a lot of wind energy with this system as it cruises on through our region. So again, a quick recap of this storm threat from the Storm Prediction Center. This is day 2. And from basically the Ohio River up to Indianapolis is under a slight risk of severe storms. The dark green is level 1 out of 5. That's a marginal risk. Typically, we don't get much severe weather with that. Level 2 out of 5 is in the yellow. And then your tornado threat. This shows that brown area from the Ohio River to I-70 is a 5% risk of a tornado within a 25-mile circle. So again, not a huge risk for us, something to watch. The hail corridor just north and south of I-70, possibility of some large hail. And then the damaging wind threat is basically the same as the slight risk area. And that is a 15% chance of a damaging wind gust in excess of 60 miles per hour within a 25-mile radius. All right, I hope that clears it up. We were very detailed here. We talked about the timing. We talked about the ingredients. I feel like we've talked about it all. So for those of you jumping on a little bit later, we're going to do a recap. Quick swig. We didn't do the long range because we've been yapping about tomorrow's severe weather threat. Melvin Harden, you're correct with the very low chance of a tornado. Leo saying, I don't like those rogue cells. Yeah, those rogue discrete cells. Always got to watch out for those. This is the first severe weather threat in 2026. Yes, it's been a long time. Lillian, where did I go? I'm hopefully right here. Did your computer go out? Thank you so much, Orlean. Appreciate you. Lillian, you have a great day. I would say, hey, a heads up for you there, Christian, 5 p.m., 5 to 10, something like that. And Michael Long is out of here. Have a good rest of your day, buddy. Thanks for keeping us all up to date on the loop, what to expect on the weather. Appreciate you covering the Indiana area as well, as their daughter lives up in Fishers. Yeah, I mean, my dad and my sister and my brother are all up in the Indy area, and then I've got my in-laws that are in Richmond, Indiana. So always like to spread the love throughout central Indiana too. So, all right, Christian Walker, you have a great rest of your day as well. We're going to do a quick forecast recap here, and then we'll be moving along on a happy hump day here this morning. Okay, let's go to get rid of this and add this back to the stage. So again, warm, cloudy, a bit breezy today. Highs near 70 today and tomorrow. Some spotty showers tomorrow before a chance of a few of those storms tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. There's just kind of a snapshot of that activity developing late afternoon, more like the evening time, probably after sunset, if we do get any severe weather out of that. Our time change in 18 days. Spring begins in 30. Thunder over Louisville in about 59 days. And Derby Day in about 73 days. We're getting closer. A lot of weather history for today, and you can take another look at that at noon right on my page or watch the replay. Our stupid weather jokes of the day, pencil related. Why do pencils shave? To look sharp. Where do pencils go on vacation? Pennsylvania, of course. And why did the pencil stink? Because it was a number 2. All right. Today's forecast, mostly cloudy, 70 degrees, mild, bit breezy out there. I'm starting to see a few peaks of sunshine. Better chance for some sun up there for Dennis Gregory up and around the Bedford area. Southwest winds at around 10 to 20, just a little bit breezy. Tonight's low, 53 degrees, mild, mainly dry, mostly cloudy. Stray shower chance, mainly southeast. Now, tomorrow there could be a couple spotty showers. I think a lot of dry time during the day, though. A high of 71. Again, close to the record of 73 set back in 1948. And we're close to another record low temperature for a record warm low temperature tomorrow as well. And the 7-day forecast, again, after our bump in the road with that storm threat tomorrow evening, pretty quiet for the long run. 58 Friday. Looks like we'll have some sunshine there. And the system that we were tracking for this weekend is tracking farther south. So we're looking drier this weekend. Good news for the polar plunge at Deem Lake for me. Saturday, 50 degrees. and then down to the 20s for a few nights there into early next week. Might sneak in a couple flurries on Sunday, chilly upper 30s for Sunday and Monday, and then another good rain chance next Wednesday. So pretty good stretch of some quiet weather, though, Friday through Tuesday, despite some of the chillier temperatures heading our direction. And real quickly, too, we'll take another live look at our current conditions before we really wrap it up here. And this is a live look at the falls of the OhioFoundation.org camera. Again, Kentucky, a few sprinkles off and on today. Most of the area will be pretty dry, though, especially this afternoon. And enjoy the warmth out there. So if we hit 70, that'll be about 20, a little over 20 degrees above normal for this time of the year. And here's a look at the refresh at extolmag.com. There you can see a little bit of this light rain, sprinkly stuff. Again, basically south of the Ohio River, with temperatures in the lower 60s right now. Got a couple interactive maps you can play with here. 62 degrees. We like that. With a wind gust at 19, so no wind chill out there. There's the goofball right there. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, it's EXTOL Media on YouTube. We're live there. And thanks for liking or subscribing or sharing. That helps spread it around for us, and we appreciate that. There are plenty of resources here, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on extolmag.com/weather. There you can see the national maps. If there's any watches or warnings, they'll be right there for you. You got regional radar. You also have the Storm Prediction Center's day 1 and day 2 outlooks. And, of course, they'll be right there for you whenever you want. And one more time, I want to thank our partners here. I think I'm going to drop by good old Grant Line Nursery and Garden Center a little bit later around lunchtime today to meet up with them. And if you ever want to learn about some landscaping solutions, they got you covered here, 812-269-1271. Or you can just pop in their warm nursery anytime there on Grant Line Road. I want to thank our partners here, too, at Ivy Tech Community College. Hey, it's our hub here in Southern Indiana, powering the workforce around our region with dozens of 2-year certifications that can help you go into 4-year programs if you'd like. Definitely get the high school dual credit free college credits there. And you can learn a whole lot more if you ever want to get that one-on-one, face-to-face interaction and learn about their facilities and get the tours. Sign up for that Tuesdays at the Tech right there at ivytech.edu, Sellersburg campus. And our friends here at Lions Roofing, lionsroofingco.com, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. If you have any roofing issues, gutters, give them a call, 812-294-3595, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. If you have any plumbing needs, shout out to clogbustersplumbing.com. That's Clogbusters with a Z, plumbing.com. You can get messaging here and information on their beautiful website. Or you can just give them a call as well. They got you covered throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky. They've got the service vehicles to get to your place, 859-762-1214. And it is Wednesday. We didn't have Wednesdays with Weddington today. My buddy Brad Weddington had built my house, my mom's house, and maybe your future house. But you can always go to his website, weddingtoncustomhomes.com. He's got a builder convention down in Florida, so I don't feel bad for him. And then if you need an opportunity in this new year of 2026, Libs Paving, the top asphalt contractor around, you go to the careers section. They may have an opportunity for you. You just cruise on down here. You can apply right here now online, and you can see all the available potential opportunities for you right there. So again, we can't do it without all of our partners, and we appreciate all of them. So, that's been a show there, guys. Extol Weather and Extol Media. That's right. Thanks for liking or subscribing there. I'll just let Christian Walker say it all there as we wrap it up. So yeah, I think 5 to 10 is a pretty good number. Just a heads up, late afternoon into the evening time there for you, Christian. And just be prepared for any watches or warnings, which I know you are. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have another fine tuning of the time frame of the storm potential for tomorrow. Unfortunately, for my Indy family and friends, that bullseye might be north over your area as far as a higher storm threat, might be a lower threat over southern Indiana. For us, I hope that's selfishly the case, but we want everybody to be ready, and we'll get you ready tomorrow morning as well. All right, you guys, besides that storm threat, enjoy the warm spring-like conditions before the chillier weather arrives this weekend. And hey, have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Not the same time, though. Again, tomorrow morning, I'm probably going to be on around 9:30. Again, I've got a talk I need to give at Leadership Southern Indiana, so I'm looking forward to that lunch and learn. Bethlehem, what do you want to know about the big snow mound? What can I tell you about it? There's just big snow mounds that are slow. Hey, who can find? All right, here's the challenge. So we've got Marge on Market. That's a big snow mound outside of our office in New Albany. But if you have a snow mound that lasts the longest, that's going to be our challenge. Who can find the longest lasting snow mound in all of Kentucky? And I want a picture of it, and we're going to keep track of it. So we'll see how long they last. We're going to keep tabs on Marge too. We'll have an update later today. All right. You guys have a good one, and we'll see you later.